Hello friends, again we are meeting for this lecture, and as you know that I am dealing with the ninth paper, that is 20th century literature in English, and already we studied social background to the paper and we discussed that background, and today we are going to think about literary background to the 20th century. So, as I said in my previous lectures, before taking up a literary text or before studying a piece of literature, it is very essential to study the background that is always in force while we deal with that piece of literature. So, in the same way, before beginning discussing T.S. Eliot, then G.B. Shaw, and finally D.H. Lawrence. So these three writers are there in your syllabus. So before actually discussing literary pieces written by those people, it is very mandatory, compulsory to think about the background to the 20th century. So, as I said, we already discussed social background. So, how that social background was very important in shaping 20th century as such. So, we talked about it. And after that discussion, so we need to focus on 20th century literary background. So this is exclusively background to the 20th century literature. Previous was exclusively about social background. So let's concentrate on these points which I have already written on the whiteboard. So you may call that these are the background points, or these are the features or characteristics. So you may have many a time you may have come across these these terms: characteristics, features, vaishishthya. It is the Marathi word. So what are the essential features of the 20th century literature? So they are summarized with the help of these 12 points. So initially I would like to read all these points aloud. I hope this board is completely visible to you. You are able to write the points. So the first point is tradition and experiments. Tradition and experiments. This is the first feature. Second one is abundant output. So write the spelling properly. Abundant output. Abundant means in a great number, in a huge number. Vipul is the Marathi word for that. Abundant output. Fall in quality. So this is the second point. So one by one I am going to discuss all the points as I complete reading these points which are given on the board. Third is note of revolt. In previous lecture we talked about revolt. Note of revolt is the third characteristic. Fourth is realism. So realism means you can say vastavavad in Marathi. Fifth point is delight in sensuous beauty. Sensuous, this is the word. I am going to talk about the meaning of the word sensuous. Sixth point is the humanitarian spirit. Humanitarian spirit is the next feature. Seventh is disillusionment. What is this disillusionment? I am going to take up this point. Eighth is the religious note. the religious note. Ninth feature, metaphysical note. Metaphysical note. 10th feature, symbolism. From symbol, the word symbolism is coined. Symbolism. 11th point is age of vers liber. V-E-R-S-E is the spelling and L-I-B-R-E. The age of vers liber. And the last point is foreign influences. So these are the 12 important points. I am not claiming that only this literary background can be encapsulated with the help of only 12 points, but only for the sake of understanding. So this is the generalization of all the important features, and this generalization has been considered with the help of these 12 important characteristics or features. Let's focus ourselves in this way on the first point, tradition and experiments. It's a plural noun. So you may understand what is mean by tradition. So traditions are something which are being followed from you can say quite a long time. And the previous generation followed it, therefore we follow certain traditions. In Marathi, the word parampara is appropriate for this word tradition. So, 20th century literature has both tradition as well as experiments. It means that whatever traditionally, whatever which was acceptable as per the traditions of English literature, those traditions are being even reflected in the 20th century literature. For example, so many writings by T.S. Eliot are said to be the reflections of certain traditions. काही प्रथा आणि परंपरांचं म्हणजे काय पालन T.S. Eliot सारख्या प्रमुख कवीनं त्याच्या साहित्यामध्ये केलेलं आपल्याला पाहायला मिळेल. So it is not the case that whatever that is old, that is bad. It is not the matter always. So there are certain things which should be kept. There are certain traditions which are quite good, and certain good literary traditions are being followed by the 20th century literature. And by following those traditions, certain new experimentations were undertaken by these people. For example, once again, I would like to give example of a poet. It is of W.B. Yeats. W.B. Yeats is there in the second semester, in the next semester, I should say. So, W.B. Yeats was very important poet from the 20th century. So, he wrote a sonnet. And as you might have studied in BA first year, one day I wrote her name upon the strand, and came the waves and washed it away. You may be knowing it. You might be able to recall it. So, it was a very beautiful sonnet by Edmund Spenser. So always a sonnet is there of 14 lines, 14. And sonnets have appropriate structure of themselves. So one has to follow the rhyme scheme. In BA first year, you studied that sonnet, and therefore you may know, you may be knowing what is meant by rhyme scheme. So I am talking about W.B. Yeats. W.B. Yeats followed appropriate rhyme scheme, certain rhyme scheme in the poem Leda and the Swan. Okay, so he followed that tradition of following rhyme scheme. But what happened, he did not compose that poem Leda and the Swan, which is a sonnet. That sonnet has 15 lines. It was a sort of experimentation. Prayoga, experiment. It means that he followed the tradition of rhyme scheme while writing that poem, whereas he did a new experiment in the field of sonnet, in the field of poetry in general. So, and in this way, it is the only poem in English literature which has 15 lines. So the 9-15 it's a sort of experiment. It is a sort of experiment. So in this way, the 20th century people followed certain traditions in the field of literature, and by following those traditions, they wanted to do certain experiments on their literary pieces. So W.B. Yeats' poem Leda and the Swan is the best example of this experimentation in the field of poetry. This is one example. The other example is of even T.S. Eliot once again. As I told him in my previous lectures, T.S. Eliot did lot of experimentation in the field of poetry. So as I pointed out earlier, he used different languages while composing the poem The Westland, which was published in the year 1922. So it was a sort of experiment. So he even referred to certain important literary pieces written by so many other prominent writers of various ages. So this is experimentation. Okay. So in this way, traditions are being followed. Traditions are being undertaken by these people while writing those literary pieces. And by following those traditions, additional experimentation was done by the 20th century literary figures. So, in the beginning of this century, so there was a great use of SMS. Okay, you may be knowing what is meant by SMS. Okay, of course you know. So there are certain novels in English which are written in the form of SMS. Okay, so this is something new. This is a sort of experimentation. It means that previously, different language was used of SMS and email. Okay, so instead of writing you, nowadays we are writing you because we have smartphones. So typing has become quite easy nowadays. So when there are feature phones, so while using those feature phones, it is very difficult to type these three letters, or always it is difficult to type each and every letter. So instead of typing here you, so it was you, like this. You know that. Okay. So instead of saying great, so it was something like this. GR and 8, number 8. Okay. So in this way, in the beginning of 21st century, some people did experimentation in the field of novels, and they wrote novels in such a language. Okay, it is experiment. So in this way, so in the same manner, even in the 20th century, certain experimentation was done by so many people. So there are so many examples which can be cited in this context. So experimentation was done in the field of drama. Experimentation was done in the field of fiction, I mean novels. And experimentation is done even in the field of poetry, as I pointed out. And even while writing certain short stories, so that there is a great experimentation which took place in the last century, in 20th century. Okay, so this is the first important point that you may have understood. Second point, abundant output. I already gave you the meaning of the word abundant. Abundant means vipul, in a great number. Abundant means. So due to the advent of technology, or due to the advent of printing press, and even you can say modern printing press arrived in the last century, and because of which what happened, writing became quite an easy task. In the past, what happened, writing was not that much easy because it was very, very burdensome to send those write text to the press. It was very difficult task, as well as it was quite expensive. But due to the advent of technology, so what happened in 20th century, so many people started writing literary pieces. For example, people started writing a lot of poems. So many people started writing novels, dramas, short stories, so many other genres. And in this way, what happened, as you know, it is the rule of economics, and as per that rule, when there is a lot of production, when there is bumper crop, at that time the quantity will increase, but what about the quality? So in the 20th century, a lot of literary pieces were being produced, they were written, but unfortunately, there was a great fall in quality. Okay. So, so many literary pieces were not read, okay, except that writer. Okay, and because of this, what happened? So there was a great decline in quality. Okay, so this is one of the important features. So abundantly literary pieces were written. Nowadays in Marathi, we sometimes say Udanda Zhale Kavi. There are so many people who are becoming poets nowadays. Everybody is a poet. And when everybody is a poet, so it will be a steady rise in quantity. But what about the quality? So quantity increased, whereas quality fell down in the last century. And even it is being continued this century. Okay, so whenever quantity increases, quality decreases. So quantity of literary pieces were produced, abundant literary pieces were written, printed, circulated. Okay, but unfortunately, there was a great decline in terms of the quality of that writing. So there are some certain writers or literary people. So as a habit, as we bathe daily, in the same way they write at least a poem daily. This is something that is quite strange. So this creativity is not something which can be produced like a product that is being manufactured in a company. So literature is a different sort of activity. So in the last century, so many people wrote lot of literary pieces, but unfortunately those literary pieces did not bear any quality. They were not of qualitative nature. So this is the second point. Abundant means abundant output. Output in terms of production of those literary pieces. Production, deliberately I am using that mechanical word. Okay, so many literary pieces were being produced as if certain products are being manufactured in a company. Okay, but unfortunately, so quantity increased, but quality fell down. Okay, so this is the second point. Third one, note of revolt. In previous lectures, I talked about this revolt. Okay, so there have been so many walks of life where we witness this note of revolt. I am specifically talking about the 20th century. Even in the field of literature, there was a serious note of revolt. Revolt means banda. I told you in the last lecture. Revolt means banda. So this revolt took place even in the field of literature. Because whatever standard practices which were there in the field of literature in the 19th century, those practices were not completely followed by 20th century men of letters. Men of letters means writers. So this is something important. So I am again talking about Victorian era, during which certain literary traditions, conventions were very, very popular. And those literary conventions, traditions were liked by the writers as well as the people who were the readers of those writers. But it was the thing of past, because 20th century people wanted to do something new. And for example, this is a sort of dress that I am wearing now. If I wish to use a new dress, if I wish to wear a new dress, many times it is very, very essential to do away with the old dress. It's a sort of a mechanical example once again, but try to understand, to adopt something new, we have to do away with something old. Do away with means to leave. So, and in this way, in 20th century also, there had been so many things which were completely discarded by the 20th century people. Especially the writings after the Second World War, after 1945. So, in those writings, we see this note of revolt. Bandaचा निशाण उभारलं 1945 नंतरच्या लेखकांनी. And there are so many writers, especially the theatre of absurd, which came forward after 1945. So that theatre of absurd adopted so many things by revolting against certain old things which were quite popular in the olden time, especially in the 19th century. Okay. So basically it was a note of revolt in terms of theme. It was a note of revolt in terms of form. म्हणजे ज्या पद्धतीने साहित्य लिहिण्याची जी काही एकंदरीत म्हणजे बाब होती, तो साहित्य लेखनाचा प्रकारच बदलला. Okay. So it was a sort of revolt in terms of the people who are depicted in those literary pieces. So previously only elite people used to have the reflection in those literary pieces, but it was the 20th century in which we see the depiction of very, very common people in literary pieces. There are so many examples. There is a popular American novel entitled Death of a Salesman. So common people are being depicted. So previously it was not the case. So this is something I am talking about, the content of those literary pieces. So after 1950, so there came the feminist movement, and that feminist movement discarded so many things of the past. And it was a sort of very important revolt against the establishment. प्रस्थापित व्यवस्थेच्या विरुद्ध, साहित्यामधल्या प्रस्थापित व्यवस्थेच्या विरुद्ध बंड पुकारून म्हणजे नवे म्हणजे काय मानदंड म्हणजे निर्माण करण्याचा या काळातल्या लोकांनी प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. There are so many writers which can be cited. So this is the third point. So I hope you understand, or I may even give you some more examples. So If you think about the theme and content of a play, Look Back in Anger, which is there in the 6th semester, in your syllabus it is prescribed. So there is a serious note of revolt in that play. So it is by John Osborne, and that play talks about the life of very, very common people of our society. It is a note of revolt. So, for example, that play talks about the life of very, very common people, working class people, I should say. म्हणजे कामगार वर्ग जो आहे, म्हणजे त्या कामगार वर्गाचं अतिशय भेदक आणि बंडखोर अशा प्रकारचं चित्रण त्या नाटकामध्ये पाहायला मिळतं. ओके, देयर इज अ नॉवेल इन युअर सिलेबस, लकी जेम. So even in that novel, so we come across this sort of revolt or protest. Okay. Protest means in Marathi विद्रोह. Revolt means बंड. जुन्या सगळ्या म्हणजे व्यवस्थेच्या विरुद्ध म्हणजे काय बंड करण्याचा आणि विद्रोह म्हणजे काय खरं तर करण्याचा म्हणजे काय एकंदरीत या काळातल्या काही काही लेखकांनी म्हणजे काय प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. सो द लिटररी पीसेस ऑलरेडी आय हॅव साइटेड. सो there is a serious note of revolt in so many literary pieces. Okay. So the fourth point is realism. Realism, as I said in the beginning, realism is vastavavad. And if you ask me to give you more details about this realism, so whatever already there in reality, so it is actually transported into a literary piece. It is something realistic. It is something called as realism. So before I give more details about the term realism, I need to talk about certain things. For example, I need to talk about optimism and pessimism. So optimism means something positive is being sketched by that writer in that particular piece of literature. There are certain excellent plays by Shakespeare where everything is completely positive, except certain negative or tense instances. Okay, you may think about the play as you like it. It's a comedy. So all is completely positive. Not all, but most of the things are positive. Okay, so in this way the writer's approach to life is optimistic if the conclusion of that piece of literature is positive. Okay, so it is optimistic, ashavadi. Optimistic means there are so many plays by Shakespeare where you will find this optimism. So it is the positive approach to life. Optimism means ashavadi. An exactly opposite pole of this optimism is pessimism. Pessimism means nirashavadi. So there are some tragedies by Shakespeare. For example, there is Julius Caesar, there is Macbeth, there is Othello, Hamlet, King Lear. If you think about these plays, in these plays, it seems that Shakespeare is completely negative about his worldview. It seems. So, because all the important characters in these plays die in the concluding part of those plays. So many a time people say that it is Shakespeare's pessimistic approach. Pessimistic means nirashavadi, as I said. Okay. So those literary pieces which project life positively, those literary pieces are called as optimistic. Optimistic. Those present this life negatively, such literary pieces are called as pessimistic. So, if you ask me to describe the overall nature of the 20th century literature, I would neither say that 20th century literature is pessimistic. It is neither optimistic nor pessimistic. म्हणजे 20व्या शतकातलं साहित्य म्हणजे काय आशावादी नाही आणि निराशावादी नाहीये. So whereas this 20th century literature is realistic from realism the word realistic comes. So the 20th century literature does not project life either positively or negatively, whereas it projects life in a realistic manner. It projects life realistically. वास्तववादी दर्शन आहे 20व्या शतकातल्या लोकांचं. So it is the pen picture. जशाच तसं चित्रण आहे. So if you read so many novels which were written in the last century, it is realistic picture. For example, if you read a novel like Lucky Jim, it is realistic picture. If you read a novel like William Golding's novel Lord of the Flies, it is also a realistic picture of this world. So, and there are so many films in which we see this realistic picture. Okay, so especially certain films which came in 1970s and even 80s, and those films proved to be great blockbuster films. For example, there are so many films in which you will see Amitabh Bachchan. So it is realistic picture. It is the realistic picture of our life, human life. So this is something that is very, very important in case of 20th century. So most of the literary pieces are quite realistic. You may even think about the instances of poetry. You may even think about plays. Even there are so many novels where you will come across this pen picture. There is a novelist from Sri Lanka. His name is Shyam Selvadurai. And there is a beautiful novel written by Shyam Selvadurai entitled Funny Boy. And that novel talks about the actual problems which were there in 1980s and which were there in a country like Sri Lanka, and the kind of tense relationship which was there between Sinhalese and Tamil people. So it's a very, very serious and realistic picture of Sri Lanka of that time.